Hello everyone, I'm Justin, and for today's video, we're going to review the new anime season Fall 2021. We're going to be talking about which animes I'll be watching and which ones I think they are contenders for anime of the season. So with that said, let's move on right into it. First we got Jobless Reincarnation, the second core. I mean, if you haven't watched the first season, I highly recommend it. It has really beautiful animation and it's just incredible at all. And I think this is like one of the best isekai stories that I have ever watched. Next is the second season of Demon Slayer. I mean, I think the first season was good, but oh my god, the movie was beautiful. And if they just have that much money, I think the second season should be way better than the first season. So we will have to see how it goes. Next, I think we can talk about this one. Yahisama Will Not Be Defeated. I mean, this one already started. Right now, as the making of this video, we're already in episode 6. So I think this one is fine. I think it has some bit of comedy, but I don't think it's the best comedy that I've ever watched. But I think I still be watching it, but I think it's just an okay comedy show. Next we got Komi Can't Communicate. I have heard a lot about this show. I know it's about a girl who cannot communicate, so she writes whatever she wants to say, and there's like a love story with one of the guys. So I really don't know what to expect about this one, because I think it's just like an okay story, but everyone has been saying that this one is so good, that everybody's been hyping it up so much that I think I will have to give it a try, and I don't know, I will probably get impressed. Then we got the second part of 86. I mean, I watched it. I personally didn't like it that much. I thought it was okay, the story. I didn't really like the mechs, but I think it was still fine. I think the story was really interesting, but it really didn't captivate me that much, as a lot of people think that it was one of the greatest animes when it came out. But to me, it was just okay. Then we got the isekai about the greatest assassin in the world. I think I also heard a little bit about this one. Let's see what the synopsis says. When a great assassin is reborn in another world, he finds himself the heir of a long line of killers from the shadows. With both his modern-day knowledge and experience and his special magic and techniques, he could very well become the most unstoppable assassin in history. I think the premise is really interesting. I have read a few light novels that talk about assassins going into a different world. I haven't read or heard anything about this one, but I think the premise is really interesting, and you know me, I love isekai stories. So if this one is any good, I think I will love it. And we'll have to see how it goes, but just the premise by itself, it sounds really interesting. Then we got Shino Nakama Janai to Yusha no Party, blah blah blah. So I also not heard about this one. Let's see what the synopsis says. You aren't really one of us. Unable to join the fighting of the front, the hero Red is cut and cast out of his adventuring party by the leadership. Man, it was a rough going for a while there. Red has no idea how much of a panic his sudden absence has caused. He has been excitedly working towards the opening of his own little herb shop, not far away. Do you think I could work here too? Logic provided, of course. Suddenly a former companion and a princess in his home? A fun little herb business, a flirty home life with a tomboy princess, this unsatisfied hero wonderful new life is about to begin. Okay, so I guess it's kind of like a slow life. Hero starts working in a shop, I guess. I mean, from the one that we have right now about the guy working as an apothecary, I think that was really boring, but this one has like the hero concept, so I guess it will be a little bit different. Maybe it will be more drama than the 300 years killing slimes, but I don't know, I really don't like this type of stories. I hope it's just more than they just flirting around and doing workshops, so I hope it's something else, because if it's just that, I don't think that's interesting at all. Oh. Yeah, then we got Harem of the End. I'm not going to pretend I haven't read the manga. Of course I have read it. I know what it's about. And if you haven't heard of it, well, if you like ecchi harem shows, I know you will love this one. You have to take a few episodes, because the first, I think, 3 episodes will be about the first guy, and I think that guy is boring as hell. I don't know why he couldn't just go with the girls. He just wants to like be pure and be with his lover or something like that. But then we move on to the other story of the kid who is living his school life and banging all the girls. So that one will be way more interesting. That's the part that I really enjoyed. I haven't read that much of the manga yet, but I know what it is about, and of course I will be watching it. And if you like that kind of stuff, if you are a cultured gentleman, I'm sure you will love it too. Then we got Saihate no Paladin. This one I also never heard of it. In the ruined city of the dead, far from human civilization, lives a single human child named Will. He is raised by 3 undead: Blood, the heroic skeleton warrior; Mary, the ladylike mummy priestess; and Gus, the crotchety ghost wizard. The 3 of them teach the boy what they know and pour their love into him. One day, the boy begins to wonder, who am I? Will uncovers the mysteries of the undead hidden in this faraway land. He learns of the love and mercy of good gods, as well as the paranoia and madness of evil gods. And once he learns it all, the boy embarks on his path to become a paladin. So, from the looks of it, it's just like an OP guy in a fantasy world. I like power fantasies, so I think I will be watching this one. We'll have to see where it moves, because this can also move to like a lot of different ways. It could be like the guy being OP as hell and just doing whatever he wants. It could be about him struggling and learning a lot and maybe like meeting life and a little bit more on the drama side. Or it could just simply be the guy just having fun and having an adventure. I hope it's kind of more like learning and moving bit by bit, which is kind of like the stories that I like the most. But I think power fantasies are always good for me, so I think I will be watching this one. Then we got Platinum of the End. I heard of this one too. I have seen a few bits of media about this one, but I really don't know what it is about. So let's look at the synopsis. I will give you the hope to live. Kakashi Mirai lost his parents in an accident and lived in misery with the relatives who took him in. Having lost hope in everything, he jumped off the roof of a building on the day of his middle school graduation, but then he met an angel. So yeah, this gives me nothing at all. From the text, I say psychological, shonen, supernatural, and thriller. I really don't know what it will be about. Maybe it will be kind of like Gleipnir, so I really don't know. Maybe it could be something more kind of he goes to a different world, kind of like high-rise invasion or something like that. But I don't know, it kept me intrigued. I think the animation looks really beautiful, so I think I'll be watching this one. I hope it's something good, because sometimes they just give you like the good scenes in the trailer, but then you get nothing at all. So I hope this one promised to be good. Then we got Miruko-chan. I know about this one. A normal girl who lives a normal life until she wasn't. One day she could see everything. What a girl to do when a hideous monster appears no matter which way she turns. And on top of that, nobody else can see them. Obviously, there is one thing that makes sense: ignore them. Kind of hard to put the theory into practice though when the ghost knows she's watching. Yeah, I know this one is like kind of horror and supernatural, but it's also comedy. You never see those two tags combined, and from what I've seen, it's just like the girl pretending she cannot see the ghost, but the ghost trying to like scare her or something like that. So I think it's like kind of like scary, but at the same time funny, which it's a really interesting combination. I think I'll be watching this one, and I hope it's good, because the premise looks so interesting to me. Oh yeah, then we got Shinkanami. Yeah, there's something about something seed, I think is the name in English. Yeah, because I think it's the live seed or something like that. I really don't know, but Shinkanami, yeah. If you haven't heard of this one, this is the gorilla harem. Okay, I guess it's not a gorilla harem because only one girl is a gorilla, but you know what I mean. It's about a guy his whole school gets transported to a different world, so he keeps his body, his memories, everything. Everybody in the school keeps their bodies, and they all get the new abilities. And this guy is treated as useless because his ability, I think, is not useful. But then when he's alone, he's approached by a gorilla who, instead of attacking him, proposes to him. Yeah. At that moment, Shinichi thinks that I guess a gorilla is fine too. He finds the fruit of evolution, and when they eat it, their lives are suddenly changed once again. Yeah, so it's basically a gorilla falls in love with him for, I think it's because of his ability. I'm really not sure. I read this a long time ago. And yeah, he transform the gorilla into a beautiful girl, and that's where the harem comes from. And yeah, I think he can talk with monsters or something like that, and he transforms all the monster into girls when they become his familiars or something going into that way. But yeah, I think this is like funny in a way, but it's more like kind of it's not as dark as the Rising of the Shield Hero, but it gets just a bit dark, because I don't know if this one will follow the light novel faithfully, but there are some deaths, there are some people that die, there are some dark turns in the story, but it's still like kind of a cute fantasy adventure story. So aside from just like a few tiny things, it mostly is just a harem fantasy. So I think I'll be watching this one. As I said, I love isekais, and I think this story is also a bit funny, so that one is also interesting for me. But don't expect it to be as funny as something like Konosuba, because as I said, it will have some dark turns too. Then we got Tact Op Destiny, or Tact OP Destiny. I'm not sure how to say it, but yeah, the world completely changes when it was struck by a black meteorite, which produces grotesque monsters called D2 that have overrun the land of its people. D2 will very quickly ban all music, which was one thing able to overcome them. But there are people who resist the D2. They are a young woman who hold the power of music, the music art. With the guidance of the conductor, this young woman used the greatest music scores in human history to defeat the monster. This anime takes place in America in the year 2047. So yeah, I already can assume what this will be about. I guess they will be using classical music. I don't know if they will use like original music, but I don't know. I want to think it's good, but I already feel betrayed by listeners, and I think this one is kind of giving me the same vibes as listeners. So we'll have to see, but I don't know. I just don't trust. I just don't trust music animes anymore. So we'll see. But I really don't expect anything from it. But maybe my expectations will be wrong. Maybe this will be interesting. So I don't know. I guess I will be giving him 1 or 2 episodes, and then we'll see where it goes. Then we got Senpai wa Urusai Kohai no Hanashi. Igarashi is a hard-working young office lady. Takeda, the senpai above her at work, annoys her constantly, and yet she finds herself growing closer to him. Every day is filled with comic mishaps, romantic moments, as Igarashi tries to balance work, life, and love. So I guess this will be... This looks interesting, because normally it's the other way around. Normally it's the woman who teases the guy. So in this way, it will be the guy teasing the woman. And I don't know, I love romance comedies. I think rom-coms are something that is good to have in moderation. But I think this is the first rom-com that we have seen so far. So I think this will be interesting. I think I'll be watching it. I don't expect it to be the anime of the season, but I think it will be a good rom-com. Then we got Isekai Shouko, the second season. If you haven't watched the first season, oh my god, this is one of the best food animes that I have ever watched. The food looks beautiful, and they don't overhype it like Food Wars. This is more about preparing real food and trying to make it look as realistic as possible in a fantasy setting, which I remember this came out with another anime that was really similar to it, and I love both of them separately. I think their stories are good. They have a kind of a story there, but you don't need to focus on the story. You can just focus on each episode by itself. And I think that's really interesting. And of course, the food looks beautiful. And in general, I just love this type of story. It's just a beautiful slice of life with one of the best looking food that you will ever see. Okay, Blue Period. I have heard about this one before. I know it's about a guy who joins the art club or something like that. I mean, I've watched some of them before, some of those type of shows where the guy that knows nothing about it joins the art club and tries to learn about how beautiful it is to create your own paintings. I mean, for me, it's kind of an okay thing to do, but I heard the animation will be really good. We'll have to see, because I really don't know much about it. But I mean, for me, it will be giving it 1 or 2 episodes, but then after that, if I don't like it, I will probably drop it. Okay, lastly, we'll be talking about Deep Insanity, The Lost Child, Madness and an Awakening Sleep, Randolph Syndrome. This new illness is slowly but steadily approaching humanity, caused by a huge underground world asylum that appeared in Antarctica. There are strange creatures different from Earth and unknown resources. People bet their lives on the depths of the mysterious new world to get huge wealth, organizational plots, or their own ambitions. And here alone, a young man with a wish in his heart is trying to challenge the front line of Asylum. I don't know, I don't really know anything about it. I just saw the image and it looks really beautiful. And it looks to be set in Antarctica, so I think we don't really see that much of this type of stories. And it looks to be a sci-fi, which is also something that has been low on the radar lately for animes. So I think this will be really interesting. And I think I will give it a watch. I think I hope to get to that my expectations are right, and this one proves to be really interesting because it was really low on the popularity. So we will see where it goes. Okay, so with that, I think we covered all the animes that I will be watching this season. If you think I missed one, you could let me know in the comments below. And if you think I'm wrong about something, please let me know, because I always love to hear about new animes that I could be missing about. And this is a perfect place for you to tell me which ones you think should be in the anime of the season contender, or if you think there is one that I should drop already, because you know it's going to be bad. So with that said, I think we'll finish with this video. Thank you guys for everything, and see you guys next time.